All right, we had a couple more questions submitted to us. I'll read them off to you and then we'll share our thoughts. How do I differentiate between needs and desires? How do I balance my part with God's part and plan and allow Him to orchestrate my life? How do I live with surrender and desire simultaneously? And
very good question.
Excellent question. There's a couple questions here to unpackage here. First of all, I'll refer to Psalm 37, 4 and 5. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and He shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. And so first of all, I would ask the question, who put those desires within you? Who created those needs and desires? Who created you? God. Mm-hmm. So when you ask yourself questions about like, what do I want? What do I want in life? When you answer that question, you're responding to something that God put there for you to discover. Mm-hmm. And then you walk those things out in faith. Mm-hmm. You put Him first in your life, but not at the expense of pursuing those desires that He put inside you. It's not about ignoring the desires.
Yeah.
And in the name of so-called dying to self, which I don't subscribe to the traditional sense of that, the interpretation of that either. Then there's Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. It doesn't say that that man's steps are wrong or bad. Mm-hmm. It's a man's heart deviseth his way means a plan. Make a plan. Mm-hmm. And then the Lord directs his steps. So you make a plan. You define what do you want. Discover what. Yeah, take responsibility for discovering what God put inside of you.
And take action.
Take action. And ask the Lord for wisdom and guidance as you move forward in that action. Allow Him to guide your steps. Mm-hmm. And to be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. Mm-hmm. So that's the simple answer. Yeah. So how do you differentiate between needs and desires? Well, what's the difference? Yeah. You want to speak into that?
It could be same.
It could be one and the same. They're closely connected.
Yeah, because, what you desire, what you need is the same thing, really. But for instance, we go through a certain exercise called wants and needs in the course that we take.
Yeah, a need produces desires.
Exactly. And something that might be needed at the moment and to fulfill what you have right now, and a desire is something looking into the future. I think that's the only difference, really.
Yes.
And so it's really tapping into your deeper desires, like Jesse mentioned. God created that for us. You shouldn't blame yourself for having desires. It's healthy, it's good, and it gives you life, right? And if it excites you and you want that in the good way, okay? We're not talking about some evil things, but desires meaning like, I want, I would love to.
And if you put your relationship with God first in your life, mm-hmm. just recognize that He wants to give you things in life mm-hmm. that bring you joy.
Yeah. It's
just order of priority and importance.
Right.
And I recognize that there's many persecuted believers all over the world that are stuck in prison, that mm-hmm. they don't have luxuries like American or westernized Christianity does. Mm-hmm. I understand that. I have a heart for the persecuted believers. And even in their case, mm-hmm. they put God first. Mm-hmm. He takes care of their basic needs at the very most basic level. And I don't claim to have a huge understanding of what that might be like. I was excommunicated from the Amish. I know somewhat what persecution can be like. I do know this, that when everything was stripped away from me physically, I lost community, family, friends, a lot of personal possessions. Mm-hmm. That was when the intimacy and the nearness of the Lord in my heart was so precious that a lot of the so-called things that we want this and I want that kind mm-hmm. of faded in comparison.
Yeah.
And everything I gave up in that journey He brought it back in a bigger and a better way
Mm-hmm.
once I got to the other side. So it's similar to the children of Israel leaving the land of Egypt, going through the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could liken that as unto a type of persecution, refining, and so on. But then when they get to Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
all that they didn't have in the wilderness is suddenly like, oh.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing I'm bringing out. And so where believers are in that. That's not for me to determine.
Yeah.
If you're in a wilderness, like if you are being persecuted in a land where Christianity is not allowed or accepted, just recognize that you still have your land of Canaan to look forward to. Everyone's land of Canaan is unique to you. Some people, they don't reach their land of Canaan until they, unfortunately, Muslim countries where the Christians' heads are chopped off and they get their land of Canaan in eternity. Other people will reach it, achieve it here in this earth, and overcome it. It's not here or there, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bringing this out for perspective on wants and desires.
Yeah.
Is what you really want and desire and need is your land of Canaan. What is that for you? You decide for yourself where you're at in that journey, but just recognize that needs and desires are not wrong.
Yeah.
They were put there by God. Mm-hmm. Whether you achieve it in this life or when or not is irrelevant. Just know that desires are good. God put them there. You submit them to Him. Mm-hmm. Release it to Him. Trust Him. Mm-hmm. Make your plans and ask Him for wisdom on making a wise decision as you move forward towards creating the life that you desire and want and need. Yeah. Keep it submitted to the Lord in the process, and you're fine.
And I would say, things that we found too is that if you are envying someone or desiring what your neighbor has or your friend, then it's different, right? That's not what we're talking about.
That would be putting the desire in front of God and making it an idol.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's out of you got your priorities mixed up.
Yes.
It's consuming you.
Yeah, and when you have a deep connection with the Father, I feel like our needs and desires are becoming less and less because you're so happy with, God's presence and Him filling you up, then your desires are different.
And the fulfillment of those desires take on more meaning when your relationship connection with God is rich.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing is, don't complain about things that you don't have or you want, desire. Be grateful for what you have, obviously, and then when you're desiring, just thank God for what you're desiring and say, Father, thank you for that husband that you bring into my life. Thank you that he is wonderful and kind and gentle and he loves and adores me and you just go there. I'm speaking for those who are single. You can do that same thing for your wife, right? If you're a man, and same things with others. Right?
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's a really good question. We can go deeper into it, but I think that really covers it.
I think really well. I covered everything I can think of, so hopefully this helps.
Yep.
If you have this question.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Be blessed, and again, comment and let us know if it was helpful.
And if you want more like this and dive into it deeper, hop into our single to married community on the school platform. Mm-hmm. Link will be below.
Yep. Bye. Be blessed.